8.9 multiplied by 12.5. Okay, multiplied by cos 130.6. So we get, so the answer is negative 144.7972633. Okay, so that's why I said you put everything here in the brackets, because cosine 130.6 is resulting into a negative number. So no wonder if so if you punch directly, you find that you miss a negative here and your answer will be different, because here it will be positive now. So you add these which are outside, follow the steps nicely. PQ squared equals to, so we have 8.9 squared plus 12.5 squared. That's like we have 235.46. So negative, positive, plus 144.7972633. So PQ squared equals to, so you add these now, plus 144.797263. Answer equals to 380.257263. Okay, so now you take a square root. Now from here you take a square root of both sides. Square root. So P Q equals to, so square root answer will have 19.50018624 centimeters. So first you write the answer in full before you round off, because there are times where you fail to round off. For example, they say give your answer in 3 significant figures, but you forget that what is 3 significant figures, or 2 decimal places, then you forget 2 decimal places, you see. So better write the answer in full. Then now after writing this, that's when you say therefore PQ, so we'll leave our answer next to 3 decimal places, so meaning 1, 2, 3. So 19.500 centimeters. So this is your answer. Okay, so this is how you can calculate, guys. Okay, so let's move on to our next part. So our next part is to calculate the shortest distance from R to PQ. So how do you get this? So you have, let's just write, I will redraw the triangle. So you have this triangle. Okay, so excuse my bad drawing. So you have this triangle. Then there is 130 here, 130.6 degrees. So they want us to calculate this distance. The shortcut, so to say. So instead of going all the way for you, for example, your town is here. We all like using shortcuts. So you can't use, so this is R, this is P, and this is Q. So now, how do you get here? Like using the shortcut. So here there is 8.9, and here there is 12.5. Okay, so now how do we get this shortest distance? How do we get the shortcut? So that's where now you use this formula here, which is already provided in the question paper. This one. This is the area. So the area is half BC sine A. So how do you identify half? So area, so let's say area is equals to half BC sine A. So this is not A, it's in distance, it's the area. Okay, so let me just write it as area. So this is area. So area. How do we get this? So we can calculate the area first using this formula. So B and C, remember from our previous formulas, these are two opposite distances separated by the angle. So A is the angle between two opposite distances. So we remember we had this and the angle in between. So we'll write this, we say area is equals to half multiplied by, so our opposite side we have PR multiplied by, we have QR multiplied by sine. The angle is R, so the angle is at R. So you can write R, or if better still, if you want, you can use PRQ. You can write it as PRQ. Okay, so it's the same thing. So sine PRQ. So we know that the angle is at what? R. Okay, that's what it means if you see like this. We write three letters and then the one at the middle has some form of a cap or a cape. We say the angle is at R. Okay, so area equals to, so first we calculate the area, so half multiplied by 8.9 multiplied by 12.5 multiplied by sine 130.6. So area equals to, okay, so let's calculate 8.9, 12.5, sine 130.6 divided by 2. So area is 42.23446647 centimeters squared. So area, you're multiplying this is in centimeters, so we have centimeters squared. Okay, so after this, that's when you round off to 3 decimal places. So we are using 3 decimal places. 0.23. So we have 4 here. If you remember from my first video how to round off, if this number is ranging from 5 to 9, you could have gotten 1 from here and add it to 4. But this number is less than 5, or 0 to 4. They don't add up anything. So this is your area. So you can be wondering, why are we finding area, but the question they want us to calculate the shortest distance? Well, you can't find the distance minus finding the area. Okay, so we have this now. We have the area. So since we have the area, so we are finding the area. Now you will see why we were finding the area. So we draw the triangle. Okay, so this is the triangle. And the shortest distance we want to calculate is this one, H. So if you remember, if you guys remember very well from grade 10, 11, we learned about this triangle. the one triangle we call the right angled triangle which looks like this. My drawing is bad. Let me try draw some perpendicular line. Failing to draw a perpendicular line. Okay, let me see. Oops. Anyway, okay, let me try if I can get it this time. So if I fail, you guys just know that it's trying to draw a straight line. Oof. Okay, so a line which looks like this straight down. What is happening? Okay, just do, okay, just get my usual pen. Okay, so you have a line, then we know this triangle from SOHCAHTOA, where we derive the SOHCAHTOA. So there is a 90 degrees here where we use this SOHCAHTOA. So this SOHCAHTOA only works to a right angle triangle, so there has to be a 90 here. So if you remember, this side is height and this side is base. So this is the triangle we want to get. So we'll cut a slice of this triangle here. We'll cut a slice because this distance is same as the height here. So if now you draw this triangle, you can get either sides. You can either pick this side or this side. Yeah, so you can cut it, so you can get either this side, or this side. So there are two sides. There is this one and this one. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So let's say we consider 12.5. Let's say we consider this one as 12.5 centimeters. It doesn't matter, don't worry. So on top there is R. So here there is R, and here I think there is Q. So if you know this shortcut will divide this distance PQ at the middle. So yeah, that's the assumption we use when calculating this, that this distance will cut PQ at the middle, exactly middle. So meaning this distance, so we'll have two distance. So this is P, sorry, okay. So we have Q here and we have P. So the assumption we use is this shortest distance will cut PQ at the middle. So we have half, the distance is half of the total. So if you want to know this distance, let's say here is X. PX should equal QX. So this distance here is the same as this distance here. But we only want this piece. So who can tell me, how can we find this distance? We know PQ. PQ we know. PQ we've already calculated, which is 19.5. So we know PQ. 19.5 centimeters. So now we want this half. So you divide PQ by half. So meaning, if you divide 19.5 by half, okay, 19.5 you divide it by 2. So you get 9.75. So meaning, this side is 9.75, even this side is 9.75. Okay, so these are our distances, so that when we add from here to here, we get what? 19.5. So meaning our distance here is 9.75 centimeters. So hope you have understood. So this short distance will cut the base, the PQ, at the middle. So when you are trying to calculate the shortest distance, which is h in our case, we've labeled it as h. So what did they say? Shortest distance from R. Okay, it didn't say anything. So just put a symbol like x. So why are we dividing this triangle? Because we want to apply the basic formula for calculating the area of a right-angled triangle. So first, you calculate the area using this formula. After calculating, you split the triangle. You can get either this side or this side. So it doesn't matter because we don't use this length. It's not important to us. What is just important is this one, the base. So how did I get 9.75? I divided the total distance, which is perpendicular to this shortcut, by 2. So you divide this by 2 since it's separating the two triangles. So we have two triangles. We have this triangle and this one. So they have equal bases. Yeah. Okay. So now, if you know area of a right angle triangle, is calculated simply by half. You multiply the base multiplied by the height. Okay. So we just write area equals to half BH, which is the base multiplied by the height. So we know this area. The area will be the same as the one we calculated earlier. So we know the area and we know the base. So we want to calculate h, which is the shortest distance. So you can substitute the values. Area, we know the value area is 42.234 equals to, so what is the base? Base is 9.75 h over 2. Okay. So 9.75 divided by 2, it will give us, so right, this is 42.234 equals to, so when you divide by 2, it will give you 4.875 h. So we want to get h, we divide by 4.875 on both sides. And here, 4.875. Meaning h is equals to, so 42.234 divided by 4.85, we get 8.663384615 centimeters. That's when now you round off to 3 decimal places. H equals to, so 1, 2, 3. This is less than 4, so it will be 8.663 centimeters. So hope you guys have understood. This is the easiest way you can find the shortest distance. So they didn't say calculate h. So you say the shortest distance. The shortest distance equals to 8.663 centimeters. Okay, like that. Okay, so yeah, that's how you solve this question. Then number 2, part B. This was part A. Part B requires us to solve the equation. Okay, so let me just paste the question again here so that we can follow it nicely. Okay, so Okay, now we're on part B. So part B is saying solve the equation. So you have 2 sine x equals to 1. So you are trying to find x which is in between 90 degrees less or equal to x less or equal to 270. Okay, so we're trying to get the angle here. What is the value of the angle? So this is very easy. So we have a coefficient, sine coefficient 2. So write them, or we can just solve this equation. 2 sine x equals to 1. So you just get rid of the 2 here. We divide by 2. We don't want the 2 this side. So we have sine x equals to 0.5. Okay, so what is the x? So if there was 5 here, we'll just divide by 5. Divide by 5, both sides. Just like that. Then now, how do we get x? So x is equals to, so let me just show you something here. So we want to find the value of x. How do we get the value of x? We take the sine inverse. Sine inverse. So sine inverse on both sides. Sine inverse sine x equals to sine inverse 0.5. Okay, it doesn't really matter whether you write sine inverse on both sides, but yeah, you take the both sine inverse. So sine inverse sine x, this will just give you x. Oh, sorry, it's power negative 1. Okay, so sine inverse 0.5. Okay, so when you have something like sine inverse, sine x equals to maybe 2, you want to find x, you say x equals to, directly you write the sine inverse of 2. So if it's cos x equals to 10, you just say x equals to cos inverse 10. Yeah, just like that, as simple as that. Same if you have tan x equals to 10, you want to calculate x, is x equals to tan inverse of 10. Instead of complicating writing this, it's the same thing. You are taking the sine inverse on both sides. Okay, so I was just making an emphasis so you guys have seen the emphasis here. Now we can get back to our question. Just showing you. Okay, so here, okay, so it's 0.5 here. Okay, so x. So how do you press sine inverse on your calculator? So on your calculator, if you see there is somewhere where it's written shift, so you first press you first press shift, then you press on sine. If you want to calculate sine inverse, then you press on sine. You will see that it will be sine with a power negative 1. Then that's when you press 0.5. And the answer is 30 degrees. So how do you find this? How do you press this on a calculator? I've said you first start with pressing on shift. So if it's cos, you press shift, then you press where it's written cos. Then you enter the answer. The answer here to give you. So you know that 30, so it's showing 30 should be less than, so 30 should be less or equal to 90. So let's see if it makes sense. Okay, so 30, so let's see. So we found our answer to be 30. Let's try just to make sure our answer is correct. So they are saying 90 degrees less or equal to x, which is 30, which is less or equal to 270. So 90 is less than or equal to 30. Okay. 90 is less than or equal to 30, but so we're getting 30 degrees. So how do we get the answer? The answer we've calculated is 30, but if you use this range which we have been given here, doesn't make sense. 90 is less. So this, you now have to what we call quadrant. So I'll just quickly show you something, guys. So I'll draw something here. So let's say we have a circle, and this circle is divided into 4 equal sides. So we have quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Okay. So quadrant 4 here. Okay, so this is quadrant 4. So if you see, this is 90 degrees. So here, the angles in the first quadrant they are ranging from 0 to 90 degrees. Then you come to this quadrant here, quadrant 2. You know that there is another 90 here. There is another what? 90 here. So meaning this is 180 now. So this is as the values of angles ranging from 90 this one, 90 this one, plus 90 to 180. So we are ranging from, this line is 90 degrees plus another 90 degrees, so 90 to 180. Then this one, so we're just adding 90s, meaning this one is from 180 to 270 if you add 90 degrees to this. So we're told that our angle should be ranging from 90 to, should be in between. So it can't be in, it has to be somewhere here. Somewhere here, let's say 90, it can be either here, in this quadrant here, or it can be here, because 270 is like this angle up to here. Then 90 is just here. So the angle is somewhere here it should be just somewhere within here. It can be here, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here. Yeah, so how can we get it now? How do we know? So I've just showed you how you know the quadrant on which you can find the angle. Okay, so let me just draw something. Okay, so I'll just say, so you have the quadrant, see? So this is 90 degrees. This is 180 degrees. And then this is 270. So 270, if you add 180 to be 360, plus 90 to be 360. So meaning our angle is within, it can be in the second quadrant or here. It has just to be in between 90 and 270. So how do we get the answer now? We know x is 30, so it can't be in the first quadrant. It can't be in the first quadrant because it has to be greater than 90 according to the condition we've been given. So you can just say 90 plus what? 90 plus 30, it will be in the second quadrant. Or, so there are only two alternatives here you can use. You can say 90 plus 30, the answer you've calculated to give you the answer. So this will be 120 degrees. Or you get the upper limit, which is 270. So 270 we can't add, because if we add, we'll go into this region. So we say 270 minus 30, which is 240. So meaning our angle x is either, it can be 120 or 240. So we can assume, so if in second quadrant, meaning x is equals to 90 plus 30, which is equals to 120 degrees. If in third quadrant, x equals to 270 minus 30, which is 240 degrees. So he say that can be this or this. So hope you have understood. The condition we've been given is x can't be less than 9. It can be 90 or greater, but it should be less than 270. So meaning x lies in between here. So which is plus 90 or minus 270. Yeah. So the value of x, you can choose either to be 120. First, you calculate it in this way. If you see, for example, if we had found from here, for example, we have, if x was directly 100, for example, we would have said this is our answer. No need of adding to 90 or subtracting from 270, because 100 is greater than 90. Or if it was 91, we know 91 is greater than the lower limit, which we've been given, 90. So it would have been the answer. Or if it was 269, still we could have not done anything like subtracting or adding. No, but since it's lower than the lower limit, you can either add to the lower limit to get your answer or subtract it to the upper limit to get your answer. So hope that is clear. Okay, let's get the final part. Okay, this question is a lot of work. Okay, so hope you guys, you should be taking your time. Make sure you understand, watch the video fully, study your notes, then make sure you practice solving these questions. So the last part, part C, you say simplify, we have 3x cubic minus 6x squared over x squared minus 2x. So this one, this is where we use factorization. So you guys should revise factorization. What is common here? 3 can go into 6, meaning 3 is common. We'll take it outside. What is also common here? X. X can go here. X can go here. So we just get x squared, because x squared can go into 3x squared and into it, so this one. So you get x squared. Okay, then you open bracket. So here we have 3x power 3 divided by 3x squared. So 3 and 3, they'll cancel.